Hello, bitches. It is Heather Ryan from Bitches Get Stuff Done coming to you from Des Moines, Iowa.
And Blythe Potter in Bargersville, Indiana.
We've got a special treat today. We have our Alabama chapter lead coming on at the very end. That's Tara Kinsey, and she's going to tell you all about what's going on in her neck of the woods. She doesn't just direct the new chapter of Alabama. She also is stationed right now in North Carolina. So she's got a big old swath of the East Coast, and we're going to chit chat with her at the end. And so this is our first official true guest to the pod, and not just because I like burnt out after an invasion in Iran. So, which is what happened last week. Thank you, Blythe, for coming in at the last moment and making sure we still had a pod last week.
Oh, I don't even know that I really did that because we were supposed to record Wednesday, and I've had two animals die in within a week. And Wednesday, my dog. I mean, it's so sad, and like the amount of grief on top of everything else has just been so overwhelming. So I'm very mentally scattered, but I'm trying to rally. So I'm glad we're doing this. It's pretty therapeutic.
Yeah. For a week for us is like a lifetime.
And so if you think about it, like I haven't talked to you forever.
Right? If you think about it, I haven't recorded a pod for a week and a half. So the Wednesday before last week.
Yeah, because Sunday you were in your
Yeah.
But you know what? I think it's important to highlight, and I was having this conversation with my friend Amy. There's some, internal stuff happening with 5051 here. We have been doing this for 6 months. We have been enduring this and receiving all of this information and worrying and all the things, right? And that's just politics, not including personal lives and the economy and things like that. So if you are listening to this, you need to make sure you're scheduling time to be off or listen to your brain and your body when it's telling you, we're not doing this today.
Yes, so true. Yes. Oh my God. Yeah, last week when we bombed Iran, I got the call when we were having family poker night. We have once a month, we have family poker night at my house or my cousin's house. And I got the call at, I don't even know, 6, 7 o'clock at night. And I actually won. I never win at family poker night. And I'm like, son of a bitch. So my family was like, what's going on? And so I was just in a foul mood from then on. And then the next day I'm like, yeah, I'll get around to podcasting. And I just didn't. I just wasn't up to it. I'm not even sure I took a shower that day. I was just not in a good headspace. But
I get it. It's surreal. It is so surreal how many wars have we now had in the Middle East?
Right. And it's always us starting them.
It's always us starting them. And we're apparently always listening to Benjamin Netanyahu for whatever reason.
What is it with that? Why is he a kingmaker?
No, I don't know.
So awful. Oh my God.
He's so awful.
Okay, that was not at all what we were going to talk about today. So let's
pivot. Spiral.
let's pivot and talk about the big bullshit budget bill that's in front of the Senate right now. Have you been following this absolute fiasco?
Very, very little. So I did get caught up yesterday. I followed Just Talk 6 on TikTok. I love her content. Mm-hmm. And she green screened a video from Gary Landsman. He's Ohio District 1. And he laid out a lot of the things that have been kept in and taken out. So there are a lot of really good things that have been omitted, but there are a lot of really bad things still in there. So if they haven't voted and you're listening to this, call your senators. If they voted yes on it, I would still call them and yell at them. We've got to keep on them. We have to keep on them and we cannot let up.
Yeah. So this is part of the budget plan that I think maybe a lot of people don't know about. There's this person called the parliamentarian, and they have to check the legislation, the money legislation, to see if it's all related to money. And if it's not, if it's more procedural, it's more legislative, then it can't be in with the money stuff. But since our government is so dysfunctional, you've got House members and senators trying to moosh in as much legislative stuff as they can into the money stuff, even though it has nothing to do with money. So the parliamentarian has to come in and say, no, that doesn't have anything to do with money. You can't put it in this. But they know that unless they have 60 votes on anything, it's going to get filibustered in the Senate and they can't pass anything. So that's where they're holding up right now some of the most egregious stuff, including, I think, Medicare is one of the things that was taken out. There was a bunch of things that were taken out because it's not all encompassing money. It's about other stuff that should be passed legislatively. So Blythe has the link, I think, to that video that you wanted.
Yes. Yep.
And I will put that in the show notes. So if you wanted to go watch that video, it's very thorough, and much more thorough than I can be, especially
it's very thorough.
In a short pod. It's much more thorough than I can do. and I can do the whole overarching, here's why, but it'll help a lot. Now, that being said, Mitch McConnell did acknowledge that people have been calling senators and House members and complaining about all the terrible things that are in this legislation, to which, of course, he said, failure is not an option. They'll get over it. Just make this happen. Because Mitch McConnell is Satan. He is an awful human being.
He's so terrible, and I don't understand how he even still has a job.
Well,
how can you say things like that and think it's okay?
He is so powerful in Kentucky. I mean,
why?
I know.
Why?
He's much like my senator. Oh God, what am I thinking? Chuck Grassley. Chuck Grassley's been in office since 1959. McConnell's not far past him. He has been in office since I've been alive, and I'm no spring chicken. They're both the old fuckers that never leave office.
Yeah.
So
Term limits.
That's why they're so powerful. They always do this whole thing. Well, if I don't get reelected, you're going to lose all your power for the state. And so here we are. Mitch McConnell has said he's not running again, though. So there's that.
I'll believe it when I see it. But people don't realize, and we talked about this too, and I might be jumping ship, but the Republicans have been, this is their marketing scheme, right? Mm-hmm. They are like the founders of multi-level marketing schemes. They have obtained money over the last several decades. They have obtained the right marketing to scare people into believing that it's GOP or bust. And Democrats, by and large, our corporate Democrats, aren't all that different from them, which we are seeing with, oh my God, the D-bag in New York.
Oh gosh, there's so many options here.
Cuomo.
Okay.
Cuomo.
I was just saying, so many
like,
options.
oh my God, I just totally blanked on his name.
Yes, Cuomo.
He is doing all the same things the Republicans are, but with a D behind his name. So
absolutely, yes. Oh my God, I can't wait to talk about the New York election. So glad you transitioned into that.
Well, let's take a quick commercial break, and then we'll talk about the New York election.
Agreed. Thank you for reminding me. Okay, we're back. Let's talk some smack about New York City, shall we?
Yes, and how excited we are for them. Oh my God.
Oh my God, yes.
That was like the rising, shining star of the week, I think. It's just the excitement across the country, probably even across the globe for this, for Mamdani.
You know, I love politics. I follow everything politics. This was not on my radar at all.
Because there's too much else happening. I think it was intentional. The bombing of Iran was leading up to this race. I think it was intentional. We're not talking about that, but I think it was.
Yeah. So I got like the last minute scoop on it. Like, hey, tomorrow's election day. That's how last minute I was.
Yeah.
And I can't stand Cuomo. He's a sexual harasser. He's a horrible human being. He's a liar. He's a fraudster. He's a cheat. There was one company that said we gave money to him because we know that he's pay to play. And if he had a possibility of winning, we needed to give him money to show that we're willing to pay to play. Mind blowing that this is what they have to offer. But then this Mamdani guy, holy crap, he's like a breath of fresh air.
He absolutely is. And this should be encouraging for any progressive Democrat who's running next year. There are a ton of them across the country. He had less money, significantly less money than Andrew Cuomo. He was an underdog. The Democrat leadership, the DNC, not a fan.
The DNC, the IDP here in Iowa. Mm-hmm.
Not a fan. And I think that needs to be okay because there are a lot of us where the party leadership in general across the country are not a fan of the people who are deciding to run. And we need to move forward and actually make the Democratic Party a progressive party, much like the Democratic Socialists of America, because I believe AOC is a member of the Democratic Socialists of America, and maybe even Bernie.
Oh, yeah. Well, Bernie is technically an independent, but he will tell you he's a Democratic Socialist all day, every day. Yeah.
I was thinking he's a socialist. Blanket.
Yeah.
I think that's how,
I think it's just more palatable for people to say Democratic Socialist because the word socialism has been so misconstrued by the Republicans over the past 75 years, 80 years.
And they've done that on purpose. That's 100%. Their marketing scheme. It is part of it. And I drunk the tea, like a lot of us have, like, oh, no, we can't do that.
Mm-hmm. And people that do that, generally, I don't think they know the difference between communism, socialism, capitalism. I don't think they know any of these isms. All
They
the
don't.
isms are confusing to them.
And they don't realize that we, in fact, do have socialism, but it's just for the millionaires and billionaires right now, and apparently politicians. And that is problematic, and it needs to be for the people. The politicians need to be working for us, and they are not.
Yes, totally agree. So let's go back to Zohran Mamdani. I've got to get that name down. Remember, this is new to me. This is no new name to me, so I haven't gotten it down perfectly. He had this great idea for the 4 boroughs in New York City where they have a city-owned grocery store. I think it's brilliant because they have, just like we have on the east side of Des Moines, problems with food deserts. And if you had a city-owned grocery store as a pilot program, they want to test it out. If it works, fantastic. If it doesn't, we tested it out. It's something we know doesn't work. And to alleviate the, I guess the threat of not being able to make a profit, the concern if you're a private business and you go into a grocery store and you can't make a profit, take that on as the city and then have this supermarket, instead of everybody having to buy their groceries at the Quick Star or at the Come and Go. I think it's a brilliant idea. I'm sure they've never even thought about it in the Des Moines City Council. And we've been complaining about food deserts on the east and south side of Des Moines for decades. And our city council member, Linda Westergaard, says, no, there's no food desert. It was never redlined. It's all redlined.
She has no idea what she's talking about.
She does know. She is a realtor, but she's a fucking liar too. We had a whole like a display, like all over Des Moines that's redlined. It was a huge display in like this historical society thing, and you can see where the red lines are and where the food deserts are, and they really overlap. What a great idea!
It is a great idea, but right? I think we in our areas of the world could actually go a little further with that and do like community garden, community greenhouses, because we have more space to do that, right?
Yeah.
Both indoor and outdoor, or get some kind of hydroponic garden thing going for the community. I think we could really capitalize on that in the long run and teach people to grow some of their food. In addition to having...
Would you believe that we actually have city ordinances against community gardens?
I absolutely do.
We have city ordinances against
chickens. They do that on purpose. Yeah. They do it on purpose. They did that here too. They made a family literally get rid of their chickens. And they waited until after the election because I was running against them and they knew that I was pro. And I'm vegan. So I am like, I don't like it when people eat chickens. But also that is significantly safer and more kind than what's happening in our kitty cat butt, what's happening in our slaughterhouses. So
absolutely.
How can we claim to be an ag town when you're not going to let people have chickens?
Yeah, my brother has backyard chickens, and they're more of the part of the family than they are just livestock.
They have little personalities. They cheer. They celebrate when they lay eggs. Like chickens animals are really smart. We just don't know how to communicate with them like they do.
Yeah, absolutely. You can tell my cat, he is very adept to communicating with me when he sticks his ass in my face. Thanks, Joe.
Cat named Joe. Oh. So yes, I'm very well. What else was it about Mamdani? We keep spiraling off of his ideas.
The thing, I mean, he was so articulate on the morning shows I was watching this morning. He had all these great ideas. And he really didn't bash Democrats, which seems to be a big Democratic trait right now, where the Democrats, especially in the state of Iowa, if they want to get elected, they just bash other Democrats. Yeah. It's such a losing strategy. And he didn't do that. He said very specifically he tries not to police language and First Amendment rights, because that's what Trump is doing. So the person who was interviewing him was trying to back him into this corner. Well, can't you condemn this language? Can't you condemn that language? Don't you think people should be punished for saying these things? And he's like, no, because that's kind of your right to say these things, but I don't believe in these things. That's what I can say. So I just thought he was such a breath of fresh air. And then you look into, Jeffries, the DNC, the IDP, they all are basically not supporting him and trying to think of ways around having a progressive take over New York City. Unfucking believable. We here in locally, the Polk County Democrats had to take off something about Mamdani's win because the Iowa Democratic Party told them take it down on Facebook.
Stop.
I know. And unfucking real.
That is And this is why we need to change. We are not going to get out of the two-party system unless we change the Democrats. And I think we are on the road to do that. But he does a great job of communicating, it sounds like, and leading by example. And I think that's what we all need to also take from that.
Yeah. So if you want to watch Face the Nation, I highly recommend it. You can listen to their podcast. He is on it today. He was absolutely fantastic. I was just blown away. It's the first time I've seen him speak. And I was just
Maybe
blown
add
away.
that to the show notes too.
I can. Yep. Face the Nation. I call it Nation of Faces, but I'm just an asshole. And I call Meet the Press, Press the Meat. Yeah. Like, I'm just a dick. I watch all of the shows and I'm annoyed by all of them. So anytime it's 12 o'clock Central Time, I've watched all my shows, I'm in a foul mood. So that's not the time to call me.
Yeah. Cause there's rarely good things happening.
Yeah. Okay, time for another commercial break since we have a lull. And then what do you think? Should we get to our special guest?
Oh, well, we have a few local things too. But yes, let's do our commercial break.
Okay, commercial break. Hey, we're getting this whole commercial break thing down.
We got this.
Be right back, guys. Okay, Blythe has some local stuff to share, and I do. And then we'll get to our special guest. Tell us all about it, Blythe.
Oh my God. Okay. So I'm actually very behind in a lot of the local Indiana actual legislative stuff, but we had in Greenwood, Indiana, we're in Johnson County. Every year they have a Freedom Festival, which shout out to whomever put this together. They did a drone show last night at the Freedom Festival. I wasn't there for it, but I much prefer that over fireworks. I do wish that when they do parades, they would be covering the sewer drains, but that's not the point of this. So the Johnson County Democrats always have a float in the parade. And we actually got significantly more like thumbs up and praise this year than we probably ever have. And that is good. That's very encouraging. Mm-hmm. And at the end of it, we're like downloading the trailer. It's hot as balls. We are all miserable. My daughter and my husband and I are all like trying to pack things up. We're all hungry. That hot, humid, hungry, like angry. So across the street, I hear someone say, "Hey, so-and-so, Jefferson wants to see you." And I was like, "What? Jefferson? That's a weird name." The GOP float was in front of us, followed by a dumpster that said freedom. Make your own joke there. And I was like, for fuck's sake, I look across the street and there is my congressman, U.S. Congressman Jefferson fucking Shreve is in fucking Greenwood, Indiana, like 30 meters from me. And I was like, oh my God. I was tearing through my bags. Where's my phone? Where's my phone? Where's my phone? The phone was in my backpack that was on my back. So I take off my backpack, I grab my phone, I put my camera on record. I fucking haul ass across the street.
Now, I have not heard this story, but I want to interrupt real quick and say thank you for putting your phone on record. If it wasn't recorded,
it didn't happen.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I had the wherewithal to do that. I was like, Michael, watch Violet. I booked it, man. On the way over there, my heart, I thought my heart was physically going to stop. I was like, I can't believe I'm doing this. Is this really happening right now? Am I doing this? Am I because I've actually met him before during the primaries. So I was like, "Hey, Jefferson, you're going to have a town hall?" Because he's been avoiding that. He's like, "Oh, well, I don't have one scheduled right now, and I'm heading back to DC tomorrow." And I was like, "Well, what are you going to do about this?" And I looked at him straight in the eye and just said that. Somehow, right after I said that, my phone stopped recording. But I mean, it was a shit show because we were just going around circles. He's like, about what? I was like, is this a real question? The SAVE Act, HR 1, all of these things that you're voting for that are hurting people. He's like, I haven't done anything to hurt anyone. I said, I had my veterans hat on. Thank God. I was surrounded by him and 5 other men.
Of course.
Just me and 5 men, maybe 6. I don't know. They were all men. And I was like, he's like, I've not voted for any bills that hurt veterans. And I just stared. I mean, there was like a moment where we were just like staring at each other. And he's like, I've not done any of that. And I was like, yes, you have. You're harming my parents who voted for you. You're harming our communities. Like, there's no way people are calling you, telling you to vote this way. He's like, I'm voting the way my constituents want. And I said to him, and I say this to every politician, you have a prime opportunity here to lead by example and be the one Republican who is going to stand up for this and try to fix this and tell the Republican Party they have got to turn this around. This is a perfect PR opportunity. You know what they said? We don't need any PR.
Wow.
I was like,
God bless America. I can't believe you didn't get that off hell?
I know. I think they like ninja'd my phone or something, or had like some kind of like cell blocker. I don't know how it happened. I mean, it was the phone was actually aiming at his crotch, which I did add that clip to it, which was a little weird. And he was like, we're not going to agree on this. We're just going to go in circles. And I was like, Congressman Shree, you are hurting people. You have to know what this, nothing. Straight face, even keeled, nothing.
Wow.
Yep.
And
horrible.
I assume you're probably the only person that confronted him during the entire event.
Oh, absolutely. I had no idea he was there. I even walked past the Republicans to go to the bathroom with my daughter. And now that I know he's actually showing up to this, I'm going to be keeping an eye out going forward, which means he will probably not show up in Johnson County going forward. But Governor Braun is going to be part of a parade in Linton, Indiana coming up. So I may try to get to there because he said he's going back to DC. But I think we just need to start doing this because all of them are going to be, they're all going to be primaried.
And they're all going to be in all these 4th of July parades and stuff too.
Yep. So if you are listening, and you know the GOP locally is going to be in a parade, you need to go to it because they will likely have some people there you can confront.
Yeah, the GOP people here, and I'm sure it's pretty much everywhere, they aren't recognized normally like on the street. So they'll be in these parades and they'll be like shaking babies and kissing hands along the parade route. So strategically, if you place yourself along that parade route, they will try to shake your baby and kiss your hand. So that's a great time to record and ask them questions they're not ready for.
Shake your baby and kiss your hand.
Again, me just being a dick.
It's kind of what they're doing, right? They are harming children with these things, so they might as well be. But yeah, so I channeled my inner Heather Ryan.
Oh, I'm so proud.
Somehow I fumbled.
I'm overcome. So proud. You've come so far in 6 months, Blythe.
God, I don't know if I would have done that last year. I truly don't. But like showing up at these town halls, like Micah Beckwith knows my face. Oh my God, that's another thing too. He kept saying, "What's your name? You're what? Black? What?" And I'm like, motherfucker, I know you have at the very least heard my name because I call your office every fucking day. I email you, I call you out. We have met in person. Don't fucking do this. I was so pissed. I didn't yell at him though. I did drop the F-bomb. He goes, "Well, I don't talk like that." And I was like, "Your boss does." And I walked away.
Is he a veteran?
No.
See, maybe if you had joined the service, you would, motherfucker. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
just saying.
No, I didn't even think about that. No,
I always like to throw back in their face if they're not a veteran, and I am. I always like to throw that back in their face, little shits.
Yeah, he donated $7 million to his own campaign last year. He's in this for the money and the power.
Yeah, that already told me he's not a veteran.
If you have $7 million to donate, fucking retire, dude. He's 60 years old. Retire. Enjoy that fucking shit.
Punch strong, come power. I really think it's between not just the money, but the power. My God, the power and people treat you like a king. You can get away with anything. Do you know who I am?
I think to some extent, though, too, these people are picked because they have been manipulated in their business or in their personal life in some capacity or owe someone something. Like, I need you to run for this and you need to do this. I mean, I gave you this much. I did XYZ. I got this ordinance. I did the blah, blah, blah. Your turn to pay up. I have to believe that. How else can you, unless there's like a genetic defect in these people where they truly just don't care about any other human beings but themselves? How?
Oh, who's to say there's not? Jesus,
well, that's true.
So many of them.
Like some arcade, like Lisa Murkowski. We didn't even talk about this when we were talking about the big beautiful bill.
Yeah.
She's gonna vote for it because she's got a provision that it doesn't affect Alaskans.
Yeah. So if you didn't follow her information on this past week's news cycle, she had threatened to become a Democrat and change caucuses because she was so against this big bullshit budget bill. And so I guess Trump got to her yesterday, I'm guessing, because he didn't golf this weekend, stayed in DC to arm twist and got to Murkowski and exempted Alaska from a lot of the provisions. And now she is pro big bullshit budget bill. Yay. So she stood up and said that she stood up and was brave for 1 second, said she was also afraid of Trump's people and what Trump's doing. But then as soon as shit hits the fan, she crumbles like, granola bar.
Totally backtracked. So that's all I've got. And then we've got in Franklin from 4 to 6 on Friday on February. July 4th of July from 4 to 6. We are doing a protest that night after the picnic for 50-51. And then July 17th, there's a nationwide 50-51 protest as well.
Yep. And here in Des Moines, of course, we've got Donald Trump is coming to the Iowa State Fairgrounds on Thursday. I will be there. There's lots and lots and lots of protests going around that. I am an East Sider, so I know everything about the fairgrounds. So I know all the back ways to get in. We're going to try and make sure that he sees us. And then Friday, July 4th is a protest. July 5th, I'll be in Quad Cities for a protest. Doing lots and lots of traveling. Great news on Bitches Get Stuff Done as an organization. We are getting our paperwork ready for becoming a 501c4.
Woo-hoo!
So we'll be looking
Yay!
for people to be on the board of directors. So keep that in mind if you know anybody that's interested in being on the board. We need a board because we're going to be all official and shit.
That's so awesome.
I know.
That is so cool.
I'm so excited to announce it. Yes. And we do have a new person working for us here in Des Moines at the national chapter. I'm going to tell all the chapter leads about it tonight.
Nice.
I know, it's exciting.
Cool.
Big stuff happening. So I'm at every protest. I swear to God, I went to 2 last Friday, 1 in Des Moines, and then I got in my car and went to 1 in Cedar Falls. And just busy. There's a young lady named Layla Staten. She is running for the Iowa House. She's 21. Amazing.
I saw the video on her.
Yes, amazing. She was there at the protest. She goes to everything too. Her
Nice.
mom is my chapter lead in Cedar Falls.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
See,
That's
it's working.
Exciting.
It's working. The whole idea is to get more people to run for office, more badass people running for office that aren't going to drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah. Oh, that is another thing that's local. We had our county commissioners and our county council, and I still need to finish uploading these clips. They had like this 2-hour-long joint meeting talking about how the new legislation that the session that just ended is going to affect the counties. And they had no fucking idea because they want to lower property taxes across the state. Well, if you lower property taxes, that puts the counties in charge of making up that money, which means that they're going to have to increase county income tax.
Yep.
I swear to God, these people have been in these positions for 20 some odd years. And one of them asked, so when our constituents ask who to blame for this, what do we say?
There's no answer.
My friends who were there, they just kind of looked at him like, it's you. It's your fucking party, you fucking morons. Where were you fucking January through April when we were screaming this was going to happen?
Yeah, well, people by the time the election comes around, they won't remember. That's what they count on every single
election. We're going to make sure
cycle.
that they remember. And anyone listening to this, that just goes to tell you that these experienced, seasoned politicians are fucking clueless. So they have professionals who come in and tell them what they should be doing for their budgets and what they should be doing for their towns and counties and cities. They do not have a playbook when they go in. You will learn it as you go. If you are ethical and give a fuck about people and hate what's happening with the Republicans or these corporate Democrats, fucking run for office.
Yes. Run for office like Layla Staten.
Yep, absolutely.
And the daughter of our Cedar Falls chapter lead.
Woohoo! And with that, I think we have to we can introduce our guests because I'm done with my local stuff and my rant.
Yes, that's why I was transitioning because Cedar Falls chapter lead. Next is our Alabama chapter lead.
Woo-hoo!
Hey, welcome, Tara. Welcome.
Hey.
Introduce yourself. Let everybody know who you are.
All right. My name is Tara. I live in Birmingham, Alabama, but I travel for work quite a bit, spending 3 months at a time in other places. And right now I am in North Carolina, where I just learned that ABC just released that their Senator Tom Tillis is not going to seek re-election next year. So, hey, North Carolinians, that's an opportunity, isn't it?
Yeah, that was actually on my list of things to talk about. We just didn't. So I'm glad that you were mentioned it. And the reason, of course, is because Trump said that he was going to have Tom Tillis primaried because Tom Tillis is against the big bullshit budget bill.
Which they have apparently advanced in the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
So after Chuck Schumer made them read it out loud.
Well, after we all get off this call, we need to make sure that we are calling our senators, and that could be some good content too. Make one last plea. They're not. I mean, mine won't listen to me.
Mine won't listen. Y'all know I have Katie Britt and Tommy Tuberville. That's like
Tommy Tuberville is so fun to make fun of, though.
He's such a douche.
Oh my God.
Yes, but I don't know, y'all. It's really depressing.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah,
I
Tara,
just-
you've got two of the dumbest senators in the Senate. They're
We-
really
We
twigs.
do, because even Marjorie Taylor Greene is making a little sense these days. Every once in a while, she says something that's correct. But Katie, Britt, and I don't even engage Tommy Tuberville at all, because to me, he's not even a legitimate person. He's a football coach. He doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know how the government runs. He doesn't know what a triangle is. And I just can't take him seriously. And I really don't think it's a good, spending of my time to even write him. Gary Palmer, my House representative, responded today to something I sent him probably a month ago, asking about when he was going to do a town hall. And of course, I just got bullshit, because they're not going to do town halls. They're not.
They aren't, but I still think it's worth making the phone call. One, because we are on the right side of our story.
Mm-hmm.
And we will be able to say without a doubt that we tried it all. When we could talk to them in person, we did. When we could call them, we did. When we could email them, we did.
Mm-hmm.
When we could request a town call, we did. Or town hall. When we could request who's your coffee time in DC when you're fucking right there, we did. Like, we have to be able to say, especially as leaders and trying to encourage other people to do these things, we have to be able to say that we did it too.
Right.
So I do think it is still worth calling, even though they will not listen. Especially the three of us all have Republican everything.
Yeah.
So-
Oh God, you're right.
Yeah,
Wow,
we all
you're
have.
right.
We've had Republican supermajorities in our states. I would
Yeah.
argue our whole lives.
But
Someone asked me why I even bothered, because it was a waste. And I said, just so that I can tell my grandchildren I tried.
Yeah,
yeah, we
these are
did
the
have-
stories I wish we had from the 1930s. Where are the people who were
Mm.
saying, "Okay, this is how we organize. This is how we rally"? Like, were they doing this and we just don't hear about it? Like,
they weren't doing this. They were doing the other stuff that you do, but they're not doing stuff that bitches get stuff done does. They're
well,
not
they also didn't have the
approaching
ways
people.
to communicate like we do.
right.
They're not telling police officers to eat their asses.
Bite my ass.
Wait,
I guess you
what
saw
did
the video.
What did I miss?
When I got
didn't-
arrested
you
at
didn't
the Iowa
watch the
State
videos?
Capitol,
Is that a new video?
it's relatively new.
Oh shit!
When
No,
he was
I've
reading
been,
her,
I've been
her
disconnected this week.
when he was reading her Miranda rights, he was like, "You have the right to remain silent," and she said, "You have the right to bite my ass, motherfucker."
Direct quote.
Oh my god!
I don't remember saying that. I kind of don't. I didn't expect to get arrested. So, and then he was hurting me. So, of course, I was going to be swearing at him.
It's so
Oh
funny.
my god! I hope they play that in the court. Oh my god! Please.
no, we're taking the dismissal.
What?
Yeah, they're dismissing the charges, dude.
Oh,
They're-
I am so. This happened recently, then, right?
Yeah, I have to accept them by tomorrow. So I went ahead last night and accepted the dismissal. So
I
yeah.
would still sue them.
Oh, I plan to. I've
Okay,
got
good.
a good local attorney that I need to call on Monday and ask her if she thinks we have a case, because the video evidence is just overwhelming. Just
Yeah, you were absolutely targeted.
And when you watch that footage where they actually take me into custody and tell him to bite my ass, you can see what I'm talking about when I say he was taking my arms and twisting them behind my back and up. So I genuinely thought he was going to break my arm.
Yeah.
It hurt so bad.
Well, you need to let them know that this OT says that 3 pounds of pressure in the right plane can dislocate a shoulder. So,
They know that. We are taught that in training. We are taught that
Are
in
you?
military, in all police training. You know how to break a wrist and hold them. It's the duck hold. You know how to do it so that it hurts and it disarms them. It makes you stop moving.
Yeah, I could not move. That is
I
absolutely
believe.
true.
Yeah, that's intentional.
And you can see the other people that were getting arrested around me, they weren't treating them like that. It was just me.
Yeah, you were targeted.
Well, they weren't telling them to bite their asses.
They would have done that to her regardless of the
Yeah.
ass biting.
Yeah, he was already doing it to me regardless of him biting my ass.
Oh my
Oh.
god, that needs to be like a shirt or something. You have the right
It
to bite
almost
my
needs
ass.
to be my ringtone. Every time my phone rings, you have the right to bite my ass, motherfucker, bite my ass, motherfucker, bite my ass. I need to put it on like a loop.
What do they call that? Auto tune?
God, no, that needs to be the new like trending audio.
Oh
on
my god,
TikTok.
yeah.
You need to make that a trending audio and we can all use it because that's
Auto tune it.
I think I can do that. I think my kids can do that in GarageBand.
dude, you've got to.
Oh
That's
my
so
god,
fucking funny.
you're so right. Oh my god, I'm gonna put that in my notes.
I am gonna have to go and watch that.
Bite
and
my
repost the
ass,
fuck out of it.
motherfucker. Got it.
I'm gonna duet that. Oh my god.
Oh my God. Yeah. Thank you, Tara, for that idea.
It has to be, you have the right to bite my ass, motherfucker, though.
Yeah.
You have to put you have the right in there.
Yeah, it's true.
Because we don't want it to sound like a demand.
Yeah, it almost feels like we should also loop in him telling me I have the right
Oh,
to remain silent.
That
Because it puts
way
it into
there's
context.
There needs to be context.
Yeah.
I mean, because if nothing else, that needs to be the go-to for any activists who get arrested from here on out. You have the right to bite my ass, motherfucker. That needs to be the trend.
Oh.
Such a trendsetter.
It's so, well, because it's like, that's kind of I don't know if you guys did this in the military, but like, it was always something like your mom or like, go do this. No, you fucking do that. Like, you know, that kind of like banter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we still, shit, my family still does it. What'd you do last night? Oh, your mom. So juvenile.
Oh, anything to cope.
Oh,
Well, we
man,
only
that's
have about
funny.
3 minutes left until I have to jump off and get onto another call. So let's talk about, Tara, do you have any calls to action in your area? Anything people can do?
I have not gotten to send anything to the interested parties you sent me because 2 of the 4 emails you sent me actually had Sioux City people on there, not Alabama.
The places are so similar. I thought you could touch base and just chit chat. No, I'm kidding. I'll just send you new stuff.
I
So funny.
responded to them and told you, but no, I do want people that will phone bank. Oh, I'm sorry, that's my
Okay, so you need
alarm
some
going off telling
activists
me
to-
to tune in.
you need some
Phone
activists?
bank for Alex Braswell.
Okay, who's that?
She is running for Alabama House District 11, and the
Oh,
election is
I do
August
know
the
her.
26th.
Mhm.
You saw her
Yep.
on my meeting. And so we need to get on that. I'm trying to find out if she can see when people phone bank and when they don't, so that maybe I could offer incentives to my lazy crew.
Is that a state race or is that
It's a state.
Okay.
It's state. Yeah, it's
State
local.
Okay.
But you know, we can call from wherever. So if she had
yeah, absolutely. I was just making sure. I didn't.
Yeah.
And I assume it's a special election.
Yes.
Okay.
I've got 2 special elections actually, because we have a special election in District 12 for the House also, and that one will
Same
be
day?
at the end of October. And
Okay.
so I've got that candidate. To our other candidate, Ryan Cagle, didn't make it. He got beat out. He only got 14% of the vote, and he would have been a great guy. You'd have loved him, Blythe. But it's still a battle in old Alabama.
Yeah. Well, make sure to share, like in our groups and stuff. Make sure to share their pages so we can.
Okay.
Yeah, and if
Repost
you'll
those.
send me the information to get a hold of somebody for phone banking, I'll put it in the show notes for this, so that people
Okay.
can just go directly to our show notes for this episode and say, "Hey, I want to phone bank." People ask me all the time how to get active. This is the best way to do it. You can call from anywhere. You can
Yeah.
text
And
from
people
anywhere.
don't generally answer. What's crazy is, a lot of, I think I made 20 calls the other day, and only 2 people answered, and one of them was the wrong number, and one of them hung up on me. So
Yeah.
a lot of times it's just leaving messages. So you don't even have to be nervous about having to get into a conversation with somebody, because it rarely happens.
That's true. That's 100% true. I call people from Bitches Get Stuff Done all the time. I am leaving messages constantly. So 100% true. Calling's not as scary as you think it is, guys.
Right.
No.
And there's a script that you can go by if you don't feel comfortable just, going, just winging it. But I've done a lot of it, and it's pretty easy. And sometimes you do meet really nice people. I did some phone banking one time where I had an old man. He was in the bathtub, and he got out of the bathtub to go write down the information so that he could go vote.
Good thing it
That's
wasn't
horrible.
a face-to-face call, man.
Yeah, no kidding. That could have been interesting.
But
Well,
yeah.
guys, we have come to the end of our time because I don't want to be late for my next conference call. Side note, we have a 2:00 Central Time conference call every Sunday for anybody who wants to log in and talk about politics. Always lots to talk about. It varies between how many people we have. Sometimes we have 2, sometimes we have 25. So you never know. Call us whenever, or log in whenever you want. Just go to the website and sign up, and we'll send you all the links. Anything else, guys? We're running out of time.
Nope.
Good. I'll see you in 3 minutes.
See you in 3 minutes.
Thank you, guys. We appreciate you. Join us every Sunday we record, and every Wednesday record. So we'll probably have this up either later today or tomorrow. Same with Wednesday's recording. Thanks, guys. Keep being bitches.
Thank you. Bye.
Aye.